I'm Danny, and I never thought my wedding day would feel like a punch to the gut. Here I am, stuffed into a lacy gown that's squeezing my ribs, my swollen belly, making it hard to breathe. I'm carrying twins, and every kick from them reminds me of the life I'm fighting for. The grand ballroom in Atlanta's fanciest hotel sparkles around me, crystal chandeliers, gold-trimmed tables, and guests in designer suits sipping champagne. But I feel like an outsider, a girl from a Georgia group home who somehow stumbled into this glittering world. The music's lively, the dance floor's packed, but I'm just sitting at the head table, watching it all like a movie I don't belong in. My husband, Isaac, is at the next table, laughing a little too loud, his glass of whiskey never empty. His mother, Gianna, is holding court with her high society friends, her laughter sharp and grating, like nails on a chalkboard. My legs ache, my back's screaming, and these babies won't stop squirming. I feel like a balloon about to pop, and not just from the pregnancy. This wedding wasn't supposed to be like this. Isaac and I begged his family to let us marry before my belly started showing, but Gianna always had an excuse. Venue issues, her schedule, anything to drag it out. Now here I am, 7 months pregnant, feeling like a spectacle for everyone to gawk at. I need a break, so I wobble toward the restroom, dragging the long train of my dress. As I pass a cluster of Gianna's friends, her voice cuts through the chatter, clear as a bell. "Oh, Cynthia, it's a disaster," she says, her tone dripping with disdain. "Isaac's lost his mind, marrying this foster girl.
And twins?
We don't even know if they're his. She's clever, I'll give her that, probably saw her chance to snag a rich boy, and took it. Why else would she trap him like this? I always pictured him with someone like Lauren, that lawyer's daughter, not some nobody from nowhere." Her words hit me like a slap, each one slicing deeper than the last. My cheeks burn, and my chest tightens as I fight back tears. I clear my throat, loud enough to make her jump. Gianna spins around, her face morphing into a fake smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Danny, darling, you look pale," she coos, her voice sugary enough to make my teeth ache. "Are you feeling all right? Let me call the driver. You should rest, dear, in your condition. We'll handle the party." I stand there, frozen, her words echoing in my head. Handle the party? Without the bride? I want to scream, to tell her she doesn't get to dismiss me like I'm nothing. But my throat's tight, and all I can manage is a nod before I turn and stumble out of the ballroom. The guests' eyes follow me, their whispers like static in my ears. I feel small, insignificant, like I'm disappearing under their judgment. Back at the Brown mansion, I collapse onto the bed, my pillow soaking up tears I can't hold back. Growing up in a group home, I learned to keep my head down, to survive on my own. The foster workers were kind, but they weren't family. I used to dream of a mother to hold my hand, to tell me I was enough. Now, married to a man whose mother despises me, that old ache is back, sharper than ever. I think of the nurses at the group home, their gentle voices guiding me through fevers and nightmares. I wish one of them were here now, telling me how to navigate this mess. Isaac stumbles in at dawn, reeking of whiskey and some floral perfume that isn't mine. He doesn't even make it to the bed, just collapses on the floor, still in his tux. His snores fill the room, and I feel a wave of nausea that's got nothing to do with the twins. This isn't the love I dreamed of, not the life I wanted. I place a hand on my belly, feeling a tiny kick. "We'll be okay," I whisper, more to myself than to them. I've survived alone before, and I'll do it again for them. I'm going to be the mother I never had, no matter what it takes. I grew up in a group home on the outskirts of Atlanta, a place where dreams were as scarce as new shoes. My earliest memory is a social worker's voice, soft but firm, telling me to stop crying as she left me at the home's doorstep. I was 5, clutching a tattered stuffed bunny, not understanding why I was there. Life in the home wasn't cruel, but it was empty, routine meals, shared bunk beds, and teachers who cared but never stayed long. I kept quiet, did my schoolwork, and dreamed of becoming a nurse, of helping people the way a few kind foster workers had helped me. After high school, I got a small scholarship and a rundown apartment in the city. It wasn't much, but it was mine, and I was on my way to making something of myself. That's where I met Isaac in a nursing school lecture hall. He was all charm and easy smiles, his dark eyes sparkling like he knew a secret I didn't. He came from Atlanta's elite, his family's real estate empire a world away from my hand-me-down life. But he didn't care about that, or so I thought. He'd tease me about my study notes, call me Miss Independent, and say he admired my grit. I told him how scary it was to have no one to fall back on, and he'd squeeze my hand, promising he'd be my safety net. I fell hard, believing I'd found my happy ending. But happy endings don't come with fine print. A few months into dating, I started feeling off, tired, emotional, my body betraying me. When the pregnancy test showed 3 lines, my world tilted. Twins. We weren't ready. Not for 1 baby, let alone 2. I was still in school, scraping by on part-time shifts at a pharmacy. Isaac was living off his parents' money, no place of his own. I put off telling him, my stomach in knots, until I couldn't wait anymore. One evening, I took a deep breath and said, Isaac, I need to see a doctor tomorrow. Will you come with me? I need you there. His face clouded with worry. Are you sick? He asked, his voice tight. I dodged the question, promising we'd know more soon. The next day, in the ultrasound room, the doctor's cheerful, congratulations, it's twins, hit us like a freight train. Isaac paced the parking lot afterward, his words spilling out in a panic. How did this happen? You're training to be a nurse. How didn't you know? My parents will lose it. My apartment's too small for us, let alone kids. What are we supposed to do? His anger stung, like I'd planned this alone. Tears burned my eyes as I snapped back. This isn't just my fault, Isaac. You were there too. I'm scared, okay? I've got school, no family, and now twins. Are you going to leave me? The silence that followed felt like a lifetime, my heart pounding as I waited for his answer. Finally, he hugged me, his voice softer. I'm sorry. We'll figure it out. We'll tell my parents, get married. I love you, Danny. But meeting his parents was like walking into a lion's den. Gianna, his mother, gasped like I'd slapped her when Isaac broke the news. His father just stared, his silence heavier than words. They grilled me about my past, my lack of family, my intentions. By the end, I felt like a criminal. They agreed to the marriage, but insisted we move into their mansion. No more pharmacy job, no more tiny apartment. I was grateful to keep studying, but every day in that house made me feel smaller, like I was a guest who'd overstayed her welcome. Gianna controlled everything, from the wedding plans to what I wore. She delayed our ceremony 4 times. Caterer issues, her social calendar, even bad weather. I wanted a small wedding, something sweet before my pregnancy showed, but she made sure I was waddling down the aisle, my belly impossible to hide. Each night, I'd lie in bed, hands on my twins, wondering if I'd made a mistake. Isaac was pulling away, his warmth fading, and Gianna's fake smiles hid a cruelty I hadn't seen coming. But those little kicks in my belly kept me going. I'd whisper to them, we don't need her approval. We've got each other. And I meant it. Living in the Brown mansion felt like tiptoeing through a minefield. Gianna's smile was all charm when guests were around, but the moment they left, her mask slipped. She'd pull Isaac into her study, her voice dripping with fake concern. Sweetheart, your fiancé ruined your favorite jacket. Washed it wrong, can you believe it? And she's been lounging around like she owns the place. Are you sure about her, Isaac? She's got no family, no money, and now twins? We've never had twins in our family. Are you certain they're yours? Her words cut like glass, and I'd overhear them from the hallway, my heart sinking lower each time. Isaac would mumble a defense, saying he loved me, but his voice lacked conviction. I could feel him slipping away, his eyes avoiding mine at dinner. The wedding had been a hollow show, and now, with my due date looming, I felt like a stranger in my own marriage. I'd lie awake, my hands cradling my belly, whispering to my twins, we'll be okay, even if it's just us. Then Isaac dropped a bombshell. He was leaving for a 5-week business trip to close a deal for his family's company. I begged him to stay. Twins often come early, and I was terrified of complications, of needing a C-section, of being alone. "I'm struggling, Isaac," I said, tears streaming down my face. "Your mom hates me, your dad barely speaks, and I'm scared. What if something happens?" He brushed me off, his voice sharp. "Stop worrying, Danny. You've got a month left. My parents will take you to the hospital if anything happens. I'm doing this for us, for my career." His words felt like a betrayal, cold and final. I watched him pack, my heart breaking as he walked out the door, without looking back. That night, the loneliness was suffocating. I had no family, no friends close enough to lean on. The mansion felt like a gilded cage, Gianna's icy presence a constant reminder that I didn't belong. A few weeks later, pain ripped through my abdomen, sharp and relentless. I stumbled to Gianna's room, barely able to speak. "Please, I need help," I gasped, clutching my belly. Her eyes narrowed, her voice dripping with annoyance. "Stop making a scene, Danny. You're not in labor yet. Why are you always so dramatic?" But as the pain worsened, she finally called an ambulance, muttering, "Be a woman, not a child." In the hospital, hooked to IVs and monitors, I felt more alone than ever. The doctor said I was in preterm labor and needed to stay until the birth to keep the twins safe. I tried calling Isaac, but his phone was off. Gianna didn't answer either. Panic clawed at me. Had they planned this? Was I truly on my own? The beeping monitors were my only company, each sound a reminder of the fight ahead. I thought of the girls I'd known in foster care, so many left alone in moments like this. I refused to be one of them. A nurse's aide named Tara became my lifeline. She'd check on me, her warm smile a stark contrast to Gianna's coldness. "You're stronger than you know," she'd say, sneaking me an extra blanket or a kind word. Her own life as a single mom made her understand my fear, and she promised to stay by my side. As I lay there, feeling my twins move, I made a vow. I'd fight for them, no matter how alone I felt. This wasn't the life I dreamed of, but it was mine, and I wouldn't let it break me. The hospital room was cold, but my twins, my beautiful boy and girl, were warm in my arms. Giving birth without Isaac by my side broke something in me, but holding them stitched it back together. Tara, the nurse's aide, was my rock, her gentle encouragement pulling me through the pain. But when she came back one evening, her face pale, I knew something was wrong. "Danny," she said softly, "I saw Isaac. He was leaving the mansion with another woman. I tried to give him a note from you, but he tore it up, said he didn't know anyone named Danny." The words hit like a sledgehammer. My husband, the man who'd promised forever, had erased me. Tears burned my eyes, but as I looked at my twins, their tiny faces so trusting, I knew I couldn't fall apart. "We don't need him," I whispered to them, my voice shaky but firm. "We've got each other." Tara and her brother, Marcus, stepped up in ways I never expected. Marcus, a veteran with a limp from a military accident, brought me diapers and formula, his quiet kindness a balm to my broken heart. One day, a man named Henry showed up at my hospital room. He was a big-shot Atlanta entrepreneur, but his eyes were kind. He explained he'd seen me on a local news story about new mothers, recognized Marcus from a time he'd saved his son from a car accident, and wanted to help. He offered Marcus a job at his company and handed me a brand new stroller, sleek and sturdy, something I could never have afforded. I cried, not from sadness, but from gratitude. For the first time in weeks, I felt a flicker of hope. Henry's generosity, Marcus's support, and Tara's friendship were lifelines I hadn't expected. When I was discharged, Marcus was there, his warm hug steadying me as we faced a TV crew wanting a heartwarming story. I forced a smile, but inside, I was reeling. How was I going to raise twins in my tiny apartment with no crib, no savings, no Isaac? Back home, the reality hit hard. The twins' cries echoed off the bare walls, and I burned dinner more times than I could count. But every time I felt like giving up, I'd look at their faces and feel a fire inside me. I was angry at Isaac, at Gianna, at the world that judged me for where I came from. "We'll make it," I vowed, my voice fierce.
We don't need the Browns.
We'll build our own life. With Marcus's help, I applied for city housing and got approved for a bigger apartment. I went back to nursing school, juggling night feedings and study sessions. Marcus was there through it all, dropping off groceries or fixing a leaky faucet, his steady presence making me feel less alone. Slowly, the pain of Isaac's betrayal started to fade, replaced by a growing sense of purpose. I was going to be a nurse, a mother, a woman who didn't need anyone's approval. My twins deserved that, and so did I. Just when I thought I'd found my footing, Gianna came roaring back into my life. She filed for custody of my twins, claiming they were Isaac's and I was unfit. Standing in that Atlanta courtroom, I felt like I was fighting for my soul. "These are my children," I told the judge, my voice steady despite the storm inside. "Isaac abandoned us." Gianna called them strangers. "They have no claim to my babies." Gianna's shrill accusations that I was lying, keeping the twins from their real family, bounced off me. I was done being small. The lawyer Marcus hired was a shark, tearing apart Gianna's case. When the judge ruled in my favor, I felt like I could breathe again. But as Isaac grabbed my arm outside the courtroom, begging for forgiveness, I saw him for what he was, a man too weak to stand up to his mother. "You'll never forget me," he said, his eyes desperate. I shook him off, my voice cold. "Maybe not, Isaac, but I've already forgotten you. Thank you, though. Your betrayal led me to people who showed me what real love looks like." I walked away, my heart lighter, the sun warm on my face. But Gianna wasn't done. Her family's real estate empire was crumbling, and Isaac's gambling debts had piled up. In a twisted act of revenge, she tipped off some criminals about my twins, suggesting they kidnap them to settle Isaac's debts. One afternoon at a park, I turned away for a moment, and they were gone, snatched by men in hoodies, the screech of tires echoing in my ears. I collapsed, screaming, my world unraveling. The police came, but it was Marcus who held me together, promising we'd find them. I refused to sit still. Against Marcus's protests, I left the hospital, my heart pounding with a mother's desperation. "I'll tear the world apart to find them," I told him, my voice fierce. We drove through rural Georgia, showing pictures of my twins to anyone who'd listen. As night fell, a forest ranger named Lucas pointed us to a swamp hideout. My heart raced as we approached, a faint light flickering in a cabin window. A gunshot rang out, and I froze, terror gripping me. But Lucas subdued a man inside, and there were my babies, scared but unharmed. The man wasn't the kidnapper. He'd rescued my twins from the real criminals, hiding them to keep them safe. He led the police to the culprits, and evidence pointed straight to Gianna. She was sent to a mental institution, her empire in ruins, Isaac's life swallowed by debt and addiction. I held my twins tighter that night, their warmth chasing away the lingering fear. "We're safe now," I whispered, tears falling. "I'll never let you go." Life moved forward, and so did we. Marcus became family, his quiet strength a constant in our lives. Lucas, the ranger, joined us too, his own pain softening as he taught my twins to fish and laugh. Henry kept in touch, his support a reminder of the kindness that saved us. I finished my nursing internship on the same ward where I gave birth, every shift a step toward the life I'd dreamed of. Watching my twins call Marcus Papa and giggle with Lucas, I felt a love so deep it stole my breath. This wasn't the life I planned, but it's the one I cherish. From the darkest moments, betrayal, abandonment, terror, I found a family built on choice, not blood. We didn't just survive. We thrived, proving that love can grow from ashes. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you for walking with me through pain, fight, and triumph. If my story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and join us, where every moment tells a tale of grit, love, and new beginnings. Keep chasing your own light, and I'll see you in the next chapter.